So here we are. We've been through Nebuchadnezzar, we've been through Belshazzar, we've been now like on our third king, King Darius. And at this point, I'm kind of older, and he decides he's going to set up these guys to be over all of the kingdom. There's 120 of them. But over these guys, there's going to be 3 guys, and I'm one of them. And, well, I'm pretty good at my job at this point because I've been doing it for a long time. So it finally came down to it where he said, you know what, Daniel, you're going to be over everybody. And that kind of, well, made some people jealous. So basically, these guys got together and they were conspiring and trying to find something wrong that I'd done in order to nail me on it and get me kind of fired. But there really wasn't anything done because, well, God kind of set me up to do my job really well. And so finally, they talked to the king into signing some laws and making it kind of illegal for me to worship God. And in the end, that's what they got me on. So the king signs this law that says for 30 days, no one is allowed to worship anybody but him. I thought we solved this mess with Nebuchadnezzar, but I guess not. So basically, for that time, I just kind of went to my room and just kind of chilled there and did my thing. But eventually, one of the guys came along and saw me doing it and reported to the king that I wasn't worshiping the king, I was worshiping God instead. So the king was really distraught and he tried to get me out of it, but there really wasn't anything he could do because he'd already signed this law. And so they ended up having to put me in the pit, and they put a rock over it and they sealed it up. And later I found out the king was pretty distraught over the whole thing. He couldn't eat, he couldn't sleep, but there I was in the pit in the dark with some big cats, just me, God, and the lions. In the morning, Darius rushed down to the pit and he shouts out, "Hey man, are you still alive?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I could totally go for some biscuits and gravy right now." Luckily, cats like me. So they were all pretty curious about how I was able to stay the night in the pit with all those lions, and I just had to tell them, you know, God sent an angel to shut the mouths of the lions, and they weren't able to do anything while I was in there. So the next day, Darius made this decree that everyone should worship the God of Israel, and he had those guys that conspired against me and their families thrown into the pit. And the lions jumped on them and munched on them, and their bones were all broken up and stuff. It was a pretty bad deal. So in the end, yet again, God was shown to be bigger than kings, bigger than lions.